Howdy everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today, we're going to be doing something a little upsetting, a little exciting, however you want to put it, whatever your opinion is. We're going to be leaving the moon. Now, it's not going to be permanent. It will be just temporary, just to get a few things looked at, just to check out a couple other things, all that kind of nonsense. Um, the moon here is still my base. It's still permanent. It's still the one I'm going to be going back to, building up, making look even better, adding new things, and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest reason for going off of the moon is because I want to look at jump drives. So we will get into that today and take a look at what jump drives need, what they all entail, and what you should know about them. But first, I want to give a little shout out to a couple of my admins in Discord. They have been awesome enough helping me out, and especially a couple people in our community, that we have set up a cross-play server for PS5, Xbox, and PC. And that includes PS4. Basically, PlayStation, Xbox, and PC can all now play together on our Ronin Empire Space Engineers server. You can join the Discord down below in the description. All the information will be there. There's a bunch of great people in our community. You can talk to them, help them, have them help you. Join the server. The information to join is there. It is password locked. That way we know who's joining. But it's really fun. We have a few people in there already. They're having a blast. We're playing in with them. Me, Toxic, and Nikor. And we're having an amazing time. It's fun. Come give us a few builds of yours. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and take a look at what we're going to be doing today. Ooh, why am I in third person? That's weird. So, when it comes to jump drives, you are going to need quite a bit of space because they are really big blocks. And because of that, I have upgraded the Beetle. It is a little bigger. We have extended the front quite a little ways because we are taking the rover with us. I will explain that here in a minute. But we've also extended the rear end a little bit to make room for a few more thrusters vertically down here and forward because of the extra weight of not only the rover and the extra blocks, but because of, I guess you can somewhat see it right there, the jump drive. These things are quite big. Even for large grid, they are the biggest block, minus, refineries and assemblers and stuff. Just for flight, they are massive. So you want to keep in mind how much space you're going to need for one of these. That's a safe zone. You don't need that. But because of how big it is, we needed to extend a little bit. Now you can have multiple jump drives on a ship. Right now, I only have the one. Because, to be honest, I don't think I have the power on the Beetle to recharge this jump drive sufficiently, let alone multiple jump drives. Which is why we bring in another idea of putting a reactor on your ship. Just somewhere. Even 2 or 3 of these small reactors will make all the difference when it comes to charging up your jump drives. They charge faster, less waiting around. You're not having to deal with it. Other than that, though, not much has changed with the Beetle. The inside still looks very similar. The only other thing that's changed is instead of the flight deck being right here, it is right here. And that is mainly because I have converted the front end of the ship to be able to carry our rover. And the reason I want to carry the rover is because, let's be honest, there's not much to do with a rover on the moon. I could say it till I'm blue in the face that I'm going to use it, going to go exploring. There's not much to explore unless I want to go after one of those assert bases. But then I can just take my ship. So what I want to do is not necessarily start over, but give myself a little bit of a challenge with going to another planet. And I think Mars will do pretty nicely. So we're going to take the rover, we're going to take the Beetle, we're going to go set up on Mars for a little while, and we're going to do some combat stuff. I know we did a little bit with the drones and the ship and all that kind of stuff, but I want to set up on Mars, show you guys kind of what it's like, and then go after a bunch of other stuff. Start getting into fights, start taking the drones with us, have them follow me, that kind of stuff. The only thing I recommend if you are carrying a second vehicle is to not don't do what I did and hook it with a mag plate. I am only doing this because I'm being stubborn and not getting rid of the ore detector. I can easily put one on the rover. I can easily put the ore detector somewhere else on this ship. I just haven't gotten around to doing it, and I don't feel like it. Connect it with a connector if possible. That way, what ends up happening is when you are connected with a subgrid like this, and even with connectors sometimes, not very often, but it does happen from time to time. I think it's more of a bug than anything. But what'll happen is if you're connected to a subgrid like this, if we look, the current angle of that rotor is changing. Not very much, and it's always going just back and forth. But because it's doing that very little, the ship's gyros, if I were to get out of the cockpit while it's hovering, will actually sit and start to go down, roll, tilt back and forth. You'll get these little movements from the gyros trying to compensate the movement of that rotor. And it gets annoying. So what I would do is just connect with the connector, make it simple, and do it that way. Now, what else was I going to go over? I think that's about it, to be fair. Yeah, because we went over the jump drive. I'm going to show you more of that. Don't worry. That's not all I'm going to tell you about it. We got the rover. We got the ship. I think that's about it. So, why don't we go ahead and get out of here? Now, I don't think I have very much in the way of materials on this ship. I am not entirely sure whenever it decides to load. There we go. I got a bunch of ice. I got some materials. Not much. But that's okay. Actually, let me fill up a little bit more, and then we will be good to go. Alright, we should be good. So, I got just a crap ton of materials. I mean, it's nothing... About 1,000 of each, minus the, big stuff, so steel plate, I just got a crap ton of. That way we can at least get started. Now, when it comes to taking off with your new ship, or your ship that you put the jump drive on, one thing that you're going to want is a toolbar with just that jump drive. Now, what I have down here is just the jump drive turning on and off, increase and decrease distance with the jump drive, and then the jump button, and the recharge on and off. One thing to keep in mind, the increase and decrease distance does not lock onto certain waypoints. To do that, you have to actually go into your menu and find your jump drive, which I am blind. There it is. So here we can go attack drone return and select that, and now it changes to there. If we remove it, you see it says just blind jump. That is what we are increasing the distance with, the increase and decrease distance. It is not locking onto any of these waypoints. It is just going to go in a straight line wherever your ship is pointed. So I have my hotbar with my jump drives. I have my reactor, which I believe, yes, I need to have on my hotbar as well, just because I like turning it on and off when we don't need it. So let's keep our battery going. Now, let's go ahead and get off of gravity. Or get off of the moon, anyway. Because you're not able to jump within planetary gravity. That includes moons and planets with gravity, obviously. So let's go ahead and get airborne. And just to kind of help myself a little bit, I'm going to try and start in the direction of where I want to go. All right, so we are out of gravity. P gravity says 0, A gravity says 0. You're not going to have to worry about that. I need to get my reactor back on here because I had to move it. Where'd you go? There you are. On off. Should be off. Now, what we are going to do is we are going to take a random guess, sadly, on how far this planet is. So, what I'm going to do is kind of increase and decrease my jumps until I get a pretty good estimate of where it's at. Now, when it comes to jump drives, let me hide my thrust here real quick. They will not jump into a planet's gravity or a moon's gravity. They also have a max jump distance of 2,000 kilometers. Now, if your ship is really large, like this Explorer, the Beetle here is a small ship when it comes to large grid. It is not very big at all. One jump drive I can use maxed out because I don't weigh all that much compared to what can be used. Some of your large carrier ships can have up to 6 jump drives on them, if not more, depending on how the creative wants to go. Right now, we can jump a max distance of 2,000 kilometers, which isn't bad, to be honest with you. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to keep the distance all the way at 100. And I am going... Yeah, make sure we're on blind jump. Keep distance at 2,000 kilometers. And I'm going to press number 4 for jump. Now, one thing you want to make sure is your planet is kind of just below the crosshair. You want the crosshair to still be aimed at the planet so you can know whether you're going to jump into a planet's gravity or not. But you don't want to slam right into it head on either. So we'll keep it at just where it's at there and press number 4. Now, this is the fun part. So says it's ready. See, now it's saying jump drives cannot be used to jump into natural gravity field. That's what I was looking for. So if it tells you that, that means you're gonna hit the planet. Fair enough. Let's go ahead, reduce that jump distance. We'll go about 100. 100 kilometers, not bad. Try again. And we get it. Now, what I'm gonna do is increase it to, there's 1960. Let's see if it tells me the same thing. Yep. So we'll go down one more and just keep doing that. There we go. Until it lets us. Distance to the proximity of coordinate, 1920 kilometers. Achievable percentage of the jump, 100%. Weight of transported mass, 986,410 kilograms. One jump drive. And the most important part, if you are playing with friends, or if you are playing on a server, anybody who you are trying to take with you has to be seated in a ship connected to the one you are on. If they are not seated, they're getting left behind. Point blank, no way around it. And then we're just going to hit yes. And there we go. We have gone from the moon to Mars. I think that's pretty slick. And that's pretty much how jump drives work. I mean, honestly, it's not much to them. The biggest part is understanding how much your ship weighs, how big your ship is, and how many jump drives you're going to want. But now, we also have to wait for our jump drive to charge. If you look in the bottom on our number 4 slot, you can see it's 15, 16, or will be 16. There it goes. It's charging. It's only 17% charged now. So what I'm going to do is turn on that reactor and kind of help it out. That'll help charge that jump drive a little faster. If you're wondering how long it's going to take, you can always go into your console and it tells you around about how long it's going to take. So mine will be 5 minutes with that reactor. So I was smart to add only the one. I could have added 2, but I don't necessarily need it. I can use that for cargo space. And that's pretty much it. When it comes to jump drives, we're about done. But I also want to show you what it's like on Mars. So let's go ahead and head on that way. So we should be hitting the planet's gravity here relatively shortly, because if you remember, we weren't allowed to jump into it. So we backed off about 20k each time, and that allowed us to get to where we are. So it should only be about 20 kilometers or so till we actually start getting into gravity and start feeling its effects. So I'll see you guys when we get there. Alright, so we are at 0.83, 0.84 of our descent into Mars gravity, and I am aiming for this snow patch. My tanks? There we go. I put them on stockpile so we can build, but I forgot to take them off. That could have been bad. Alright. So, we are good to go. So I am aiming for this snow patch here because I want to have a sustainable way to get energy on my ship. The planet of Mars, when it comes to ice lakes, has almost, if not zero. Some people can consider these snow patches ice lakes because they are basically the same thing, just not as deep. And they do give you less as far as ice goes. So when it comes to making energy for your base, the ice patches can definitely help. Or snow patches, I'm sorry. But what we're mainly looking for is going to be some flat ground near the snow patches that we can actually use to get ice from to make hydrogen to charge batteries. So we want to make sure we are in a pretty decent spot near these snow caps. And now what I'm going to do is kind of just set my ship down. That way we can kind of save on the hydrogen here. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Okay. So let's see what our ore patches are. Because we want to find a spot that is relatively close to the snow patches. But then I also don't have to worry too much about other stuff. And already we have magnesium, silicon, and ice. Cool. So let's go ahead and mark that. And what I'm actually gonna do is deploy the rover. So the reason I have it on a mag plate, which is kind of cool, is I can just come down, make sure I get my landing gear, and I can lock. And then I can turn off my thrusters, make sure my reactor is turned off, and put my batteries in charge. This way, this ship is dormant now. I'm not too worried about... Oh, I do need batteries on for a little bit, so I can open doors. But this way, we are able to actually leave the ship where it's at and come back for it. Now, I automatically do want to GPS this. We have magnesium, silicon, ice. That'll work. Now, what I can do... Actually, I will do it from the ship. That way you guys can see how to do it as well, in case you want to do something similar. And I really need to put a button on that door now, because now I am wasting oxygen. But I have a mag plate, number 6, that is locked. If I hit that, releases the rover. And then I can just use the jump feature on the rover that the wheels get and jump back up to lock. Not hard. Turn my lights on so I can see. Now I am gonna need some materials, and that is going to be for an ore detector. I could just keep using the one on the ship. I mean, it's big, it's got a long range, but I also want to drive the rover around, so it'll be fine. I'm just gonna slap this right there once I get the materials that I said I was gonna get. 7, because we want the small one. And I don't have the reactor components, but... What? Ah, That's why. I was wondering why it needed reactor components. I was like, I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but maybe I missed something. No. It's just build planner being stupid again. Now what do I need? Detector components. That's easy enough. I don't think I can make them. No. Because I only have the survival kit. And I don't think I have any. No. So, we are just going to steal them from this one. There we go. Go back under, weld them into this one. And there we go. And then I'll just put whatever's left back into the other one. That way, we do have them. Cool. What do I still have on me? Basic stuff. That's fine. So let's go into our ore detector. Crank that range up. And we're good. Let's go find some ores. Alright, so I am back. We have found... Let me go ahead and put my parking brake on. Handbrake. Never use park. Iron. Off 2k away, 3k. Which isn't terrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reattach the scorpion by doing our little trick here. Now, it's not the most foolproof, but it works. And we're going to see if we can't find a little bit of a landing spot to kind of call home for a little bit. Come on. Not working. Maybe I'm not far enough. Oh, I should be. It's this angle. This is why I tell you not to do this. Use the connector. There we go. Gotcha. Alright. So we can hop out of that. I'm going to put its batteries on recharge. That way it doesn't get wasted. And hop in the ship. Now, I'm looking for a spot similar to what I did on the moon, where it's going to be somewhat central to all the different ores and stuff that we found, and be able to actually not have to travel long distances for them. So that will help us in the search, or not really a search, but in the efforts of actually building a base. And for me, this is just going to be more of an outpost, so it's not going to be huge, but I do want it to look nice and actually be kind of useful, so. And I'm thinking kind of right here under this snow patch in this little ravine area. If we have to do a little bit of terraforming, that's okay, but I'm thinking of maybe doing... Oh, and I am tilting because I need more side thruster. But I am thinking about doing kind of like an in-ground base. So the one on the moon and the one on the Earth, like I did not hillside, but more out of the ground. Like the moon, I have my base going with the land, with the pipelines and stuff, and then Earth-like was more of just a starter to kind of show you what to expect and how all that should work. Whereas this one, I think we're gonna do, if I don't break stuff first, kind of a in the hillside type of base. I think it'll be fun. It'll be a little different. I just gotta find a nice landing spot here. I also want it to be a little more in-ground, simply due to the combat stuff we are going to be doing. And this is going to help us with that. Lock on.
No fuel.
Turn our batteries back on. Hydrogen thrusters off. We are good to go. Now, first thing I am going to do is, of course, fill up. But I think I'm also going to put a button here to try to preserve as much of the oxygen as I can. So let's go ahead and get our button. Actually, let's do, where's our automation? Get an access panel, because those are kind of cool. Now, what kind do we want? I know only certain number of them actually have, like, the buttons. So let's see if that one works. This one, no, it does not. I know only like 2 of them actually have buttons on them, which is really weird to me. I know this one does. Is it this one that has it? Yeah. So this one, I'm going to just set up a timer block. And sadly, I do have to go outside for that. That timer block. Make sure this is cleared. Should be good. Actually, yeah, let's go put this on the outside of the ship somewhere. Because I know I have the flight stuff on this side to where the ship can fly itself back. But let's go ahead and put... Yeah, we'll put it right where the E's at. Right behind it. Or actually, where are those ones? One away. Okay. So yeah, we will start where this E is at. And we will make it face the right way. Put that back. And then, do I still have... I do. Nice. I got my letters. And now these, one, I want to make red. And then go white. And then I do have to put the E back over here. Beautiful. Oh, and in case you're wondering, it is RE23E because Ronin Empire, our Discord and community, and then 23 for the year, and then E for the class, which is exploration. This is not a fighter, and then, of course, you have the name. Kind of how I designate my ships, which is similar to, like, the Scorpion here. I just haven't put badging on it yet. It is also going to be RE23, but it will be RE23ER, or Exploration Rover, and then Scorpion afterwards, which to me makes sense, but designate your ships however you want. There's no specific classification. Alright, let's get this timer block going. So, what I want it to do, let's go into control panel here. Timer block. Rear door. Delay is going to be 0. Now we want to make sure this door is named. That's looking at a gyroscope for some reason. There we go. Rear. Lovely. And then we want to get the name of this, which is 3. And we are going to change that to rear. Name your blocks. Righty. So if we go back into our timer, we go to setup actions and we type in rear. We have air vent fan full, and we are going to depressurize on off. And then we are going to sliding hatch door open and close. This way we can hit it while it's closed, and we can hit it while it's open, and it will do both. So if we set up our button and go to timer block, start. Depressurized. Closing the door. Pressurizing. Cool. And there we go. Now I won't be wasting as much oxygen. If I really wanted to, I could set a second timer block, one for each step, and then have the button go in between them. So you would have one timer block for your air vent that would depressurize or pressurize. And then you would have one for the door that would open and close. And then whenever you hit the button, it would trigger the vent first to depressurize the zone, and then trigger that timer block would trigger the door timer block to open and close. And then if you hit the button again, it will start pressurizing the room and close the door. So it works. And then we can just shut our panel and we are good to go. Nice, huh? So, what say you make sure I have steel plate? We get going on our little adventure. Where is my O2? There it is. And yes, I did, like, stock up on bottles. Because I know I'm going to die quite a lot, and I don't really want to have to make them again. So I just put a bunch in there. I had the space. Why not? So, why don't we... I don't want to go to the very bottom. My lights aren't doing jack down here. So here is the bottom. Why don't we go up a little bit? And I think that should be good. So we'll go kind of where this craggy part starts. And make sure we are gravity aligned. And then I also kind of want to make sure there we go. I want to make sure it's facing the right way. That way we can get as much space out of it as we can. And then go back to gravity align. Go to where the craggy is about to start. And go there. How does that line up? I think we can do a little better. Oops. Wrong one. There we go. That's pretty good. Kind of like that. First block. Always the best. Now, since this is going to be somewhat of a military outpost, what I'm going to do is go for something of a camo look. Not entirely, but I think it'll look kind of cool. It won't be like the matching brown and orange and all that, but it'll be okay. And that's still not lined up. Is it just how I'm seeing things? I think it's just how I'm seeing things. It's probably just how I'm seeing things. But that's kind of what we're going to go with. So I'm going to go ahead, get something laid out, and weld it up just to start us, and we should be okay. I might have to make a couple trips and get some materials, but it'll be okay. Did you miss me for all of the 2 seconds that you had to fly in here through the transition? Probably not. But you can see what I've got done so far. And it's not terrible. I mean, it's just a crap ton of steel plate that I had to use. I'm thinking about going Ow. Well, now to my death, because I don't know if I can get back up, and forgot I have run out of hydrogen. I should be okay. But I've decided to go with this camo color. I haven't really used it all that much. Don't mind the scrap. I had a little bit of a, accident with a solar tower. It's fine.
Energy critical.
No. I went to turn it on, and it whipped around towards the sun, and, may have smacked the mountain. But I kind of went with this camo color just to see what it looks like. It's not terrible. It kind of gives off the vibe that I'm looking for blending in with the terrain. Now, yes, I know we are just going up against AI and they don't care what the terrain looks like, but you know, it matters to me. That's the important part. So, I also have a refinery, an O2H2 generator, and I have 2 assemblers, and then 3 medium cargo tanks, cargo containers. So we should be okay for basic production. Now I do not have a survival kit on there because I have one on the ship, and hopefully I'm not getting into a battle just yet, but that one is a little more secure than anything I would be putting on the base at the moment anyway, because it's in the open. So I think I'll be okay there. Now, I want to give you a little bit of an idea on what I'm going to do with this base. So I'm going to make it basically a bunker is what I'm going to do. And we see our giant gate there. That's going to be my entry point. And we're going to make it basically that whole part. I might turn that hole into a hangar now because it's not a bad location for one anyway. But yeah, I want to make like a bunker style base, and it's not going to be massive. It's only going to have like the production room in it, inventory, might have some hydrogen tanks for storage, and then maybe like a control deck and a quarters, but that's about it. Other than that, though, we're going to be trying to focus on getting ships made, drones made, and turrets up, because I want to get those asserts kind of pissed off. And this is where I want to do that. And have them start coming and attacking this area and putting turrets on the ledges and surrounding this place with guns. I think that'll be fun. So we'll see how it goes. And see what happens from there. But with that, I bid you all farewell and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Again, join the Discord down below if you would like to join the public server. It is crossplay, so anybody on PlayStations, PS4 and PS5, Xbox, Xbox Series X, and PC, you guys can all play together. So if you have family or friends that are on consoles or PC, you guys can hang out, party, and come join us. We do have a community center that is able to be built up by different members. We just ask that you let us know what you're planning on doing so we can see if it'll fit into the kind of build of it. But join the Discord. A lot of good people down there. Somebody's usually playing something. And we'll see you in the next video. Have a good night, everybody.